All right, so this is going to be one of those videos where I'm basically just going to give you everything that I know in the purest possible way. It's going to be raw content. So if you're after a video that has a bunch of fancy effects, quick transitions, a bunch of fluff to hide basically the no content behind the video, then this is not the video you should be watching. I'm really going to break down the technical skills, the soft skills, and the salary negotiation skills in this video, how I made it this far into my career. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mo Chen, and I work as a data analyst right now in the banking industry. I have well over half a decade of experience working with complex big data within the financial services industry, and I have about, I would say, 10 to 12 years of experience working with data. So I'm going to try and condense that down when it comes to technical skills, soft skills, and salary negotiations to show you how I did it. And then you can learn from the mistakes that I made, and you can also replicate my successes. So really, this is going to be basically an unedited video. I'm going to sit here. I have a couple notes that I took, and I'm just going to follow my notes and give you my honest, sincere advice on how I did it, how you can do it, what you should avoid. Essentially, I'll just give you a shortcut, hopefully, that you can use to get you closer to your career ambitions. And I think this is the big thing about it, right? Because I've been there and I've done it. I know things that you don't. I can guarantee you that I know things that you don't. It's because you don't know what you don't know. So a lot of people who come to me for mentorships, for example, they leave the mentorship session with a feeling that they got immense value out of it, way more than what they actually paid for the mentorship, or rather than paid, I would say way more than what they invested into themselves, because I can tell you things that you just wouldn't know. It's because you have to be in the industry. So say, for example, a really good friend of mine, he's been in the military. I mean, I could watch all of the movies and the documentaries about, what it's like to be in the military. But how would I know what it's like to be in the military if I haven't actually been there? I haven't actually done it, and I haven't actually experienced it. So I have been working with data in the real world for so much time now. And this is my 6th year working in the banking industry with complex big data. But I mean, I guess the number of years of experience is just a number. In 6 years, if you're lazy, it is completely possible to put in just 2 years of experience. But in 6 years, I feel like I put in the reps. I feel like I put in about 18, 20 years of reps. So at the beginning of my career, I used to get up at 5:30 a.m. This is right when I started my career. So this was the first year of my career. I got up at 5:30 a.m. I studied because back then I was studying for the CFA exam, which is the Chartered Financial Analyst exam. So this was on the back of graduating from my master's. I started working and I continued studying. So I got up at 5:30. I studied. Then I did a little bit of yoga because it's all I had time for. I went to work and then I worked until lunchtime. Then guess what I did? During lunch, I studied. And then I went back to work, and then I finished work around 5 or 6, and then I studied. And that was my life every single day. And on the weekends, I studied from 9 till 5, 9 till 7, something like that. So I lived this kind of life for 6 months, and then I passed my exam with flying colors. But this is just one of those examples that goes to show that you can actually make up the time or speed up your process as long as you're willing to put in the work. Because a lot of people are just not willing to put in the work. There is no other way of saying it. Some things, even though you're really talented, or you could be super talented and really smart, you still have to put in the work. There is just no way, in my opinion, that you can get to really high places. You can build really successful careers without actually putting in the work. If you look at all the successful people, the really successful ones who have made it themselves, sure, yeah, they are smart. I mean, I'm not a dumb person either, but I can guarantee you that at some point in their lives, they were so obsessed that they woke up every single day with one goal in their mind, and then they went to bed thinking about the same goal as well. So with all this said, let me give you my thoughts on the technical skills you need in the world of data analytics in 2024. So to put it super simply, technical skills, first of all, are not everything, but these are the things you should learn. Spreadsheets and when it comes to spreadsheets, specifically Microsoft Excel. Then SQL, structured query language. You should get really good at both of these. I think this is the foundation of any data professional, not just a data analyst. And this is the other thing, right? So you don't have to become a data analyst to be good with working with data. And actually, most of the people will not become data analysts. Just look at how many jobs there are out there where the job title says data analyst, and how many people there are who want to become data analyst. You'll quickly see that you will probably not become a data analyst. Now, I don't want to discourage you, but this is the reality. But that's okay. You don't have to be a data analyst. This current position of mine is my first job where my official job title says data and analytics analyst. Before that, I was an insights analyst, a risk graduate, a credit portfolio manager, but who cares? I mean, I was working with data, right? So the skill sets didn't really change. My job title did. So Excel, SQL, once you're done with these, learn some kind of visualization tool. I would recommend Power BI or Tableau, because if you already learned something, you should learn something that is popular and that is used by most organizations. And then once you've mastered all of these, which should take you quite a while, by the way, all of the courses that say, you can become amazing at all of these things, in like 30 days or 60 days, I don't believe it. Look, it's a continuous learning process, and you can get to the foundation levels, but to be really, really good at something, I mean, come on. I'm still learning every single day, and I think this is the difference between beginners and really technical, advanced people, is that when you ask them how good they are, I think the beginners, they'll just say, oh yeah, I'm great at this. It's because they don't know what they don't know. And once you dive into the topic, it can be any technical skills or whatever learning, it's true. It's the more you know, the less you know, because the more you know, how much is out there. So Excel, SQL, Tableau or Power BI, and then I would definitely leave coding to the very end. Now, first of all, coding is not necessary for most data analyst jobs. Sure, some positions will say that you should learn to code and you should know how to code in Python or R or whatever language they give you, but I'm telling you, it's not a must. Very small proportion of data analyst jobs or data analytics professional jobs or data analyst role types of jobs will require you to know how to code. So just leave that to the end, because it's the least bang for buck skill, in my opinion, especially with AI on the rise. It's just, you could literally just ask ChatGPT to write you some basic code, and then you'll take it from there. But learning coding is hard. I would say Excel, SQL, plus learning a visualization tool like Tableau or Power BI combined is not as hard as learning Python. So for me, it took ages to learn Python, and I learned Python specifically to data analysis. So I didn't learn Python specifically to, like software engineering. I have no idea how to design websites. I also have no idea how to do, I don't even know, design Windows or whatever. I have no clue about that type of Python coding. The Python coding I'm good at focuses specifically on data analysis, and those are libraries like the Pandas, the NumPy, the Matplotlib, or the Seaborn libraries. So yeah, leave coding to the end, and let me just jump back to Microsoft Excel. And I say Microsoft Excel here because I know there's a lot of spreadsheeting tools out there, but just learn something that is used by most organizations. And that, in my opinion, is Microsoft Excel. And it is just so much more powerful than anything else out there in terms of spreadsheets. Sure, you could use Google Sheets. It's completely free. But I'm telling you, it's nowhere near as good or as advanced as Microsoft Excel. Then, once you've, I would say, mastered Excel, which in my opinion is knowing advanced functions and formulas, like countifs, what else is out there? XLOOKUP, VLOOKUPs, index match. Once you know these very well, power pivots, power query, pivot tables, pivot charts, you know how to build nice dashboards. You can basically use Excel without touching your mouse. I think that's when you're an advanced Excel user. When you go to work, it's not just about how good of an output you produce, but how quickly you can produce that output. Now, producing high quality work, in my opinion, is not difficult. Producing fast work is also not difficult. I think what's difficult is producing high quality work in a very fast way. Now, I think that's difficult. And that's why a lot of jobs say you should be able to work under pressure. And to me, this simply means that you should be able to juggle 10 things and then, split your attention as well, and then still do well with all of those 10 things. To me, that's working under pressure. For me, working under pressure is not, your boss shouting at you. That's a toxic work culture, in my opinion. That's not working under pressure. So yeah, that shouldn't be working under pressure at any organization, in my opinion. So once you know Excel, move on to SQL, which is just structured query language. I have a full SQL database course. It's completely free. It's 70 minutes long, but that includes the theory knowledge as well on what relational database management systems are. So the actual coding bit is probably only like 45 minutes, and it's probably 80% of what you should know as an entry-level data analytics professional. So you don't have to know everything in SQL because it's likely that you won't have to alter databases, create databases, manage systems. All you're going to have to do is query some data and extract it. Really simple. So don't take it too far. Just make sure you get to the point where you understand window functions very well, you understand subqueries very well. If you can optimize some queries as well, that's amazing. And honestly, I think that's it. Anything more difficult than that, you'll probably not going to need it. I'll tell you now that at work, the SQL queries I write, they go as far as joining a bunch of tables, using some window functions, maybe aggregating, and then extracting the output. If it's actually so difficult that I need to write an SQL code that runs for ages, I'm not using the right tool, because I shouldn't be doing the coding row by row. I should probably just use something like Python to code it left to right and do everything simultaneously. All right, so that's Excel and SQL ticked. Next up, visualization tool. I definitely go with Tableau or Power BI and nothing else. I know there's other tools out there, but these are the most popular. And if you're already learning something, make sure you learn something that actually adds value, a skill that organizations actually look for. So what's the big difference between Tableau and Power BI? Well, Power BI, because it's a Microsoft product, the desktop version obviously only runs on Windows machines. That is not that hard to understand, I think. At its core, they're quite different because I know Power BI uses DAX, and I'm not a great Power BI user. I learned the basics, and then I just moved on to Tableau, and I learned it really well because it's what I use at work. So yeah, Power BI is based on DAX, and in my opinion, I think it's more customizable than Tableau, but it is also harder to learn because there's endless options. Whereas Tableau, it's kind of it just works. It's simple. The calculated fields, the syntax is based on, I think, just SQL. When I type it, I actually have no clue if this is true or not, but it's definitely SQL-like to me. When I write the functions for the calculated fields, I think the user interface looks cleaner than Power BI. And yeah, it's a great visualization tool. So learning whichever, you cannot go wrong. Learn one of them, learn it really well, rather than learning both a little bit and you get to a point where you're mediocre at two things. So just learn Tableau or Power BI, get really good at them. Because when you get to work and in your workplace, if you're already working in some kind of data related job or not even data related job, I mean, nowadays, right? You can visualize things. You don't have to be a data analyst or work in the data analytics department to visualize things. I think visualization tools are the most bang for buck technical tools at work because no matter how much work I put in beforehand, like say, for example, I spend ages joining tables in SQL after I found the information or I manipulate some data in Excel. At the end, if the visuals I produce or the story I tell is rubbish, then it doesn't even really matter what I did before because who's going to pay attention, right? This is like, imagine, you have a great product and then at the end you just have no packaging around the product. That's not good, is it? So yeah, make sure you learn Tableau and Power BI well, just so you can package whatever idea you have in the best possible way to tell the most engaging stories and call people to action or influence them or just get to the decision that you want them to get to. So that's Excel, SQL, visualization tool done. So the last thing that you could learn, and I would not suggest you learn until you actually get a job and you're quite stable in the job and you've learned the 3 tools, as in Excel, SQL, and a visualization tool well. So the last thing would be a coding language. Now, you could learn Python, or you could learn R, or you could learn something else. But if you ask me, you should learn Python because it's a general programming language. It's super popular. You can do endless things with it. And if you do decide to learn it, I have a video on, I think I titled it How I Learned Python if I had to do it all over again. But to give you a quick summary of the video, essentially, is that I failed the first time I tried learning Python. Why? Because I tried learning anything and everything. Okay, so what do I mean by anything and everything? So I took this guy's course. I think it was Cold Steel. I think he's quite famous in the Python world. And I was learning to code up rock, paper, scissors games and robots playing chess or robots throwing dice or something. Stuff that's completely non-related to data analytics. So I was probably learning some programming stuff or software engineering stuff that honestly I would never use ever again. I failed the first time because I didn't learn anything that was applicable at work, even though now looking back, I think I learned the basics really well. You know, dictionaries, lists, loops, iterations, but I couldn't actually apply anything. So then the second time when I tried learning Python, I had a specific focus and that was around data analysis. So I learned the pandas, the NumPy, the matplotlib, and the Seaborn libraries very, very well. And then finally I was able to apply stuff at work. I was able to finally write some code that actually made an impact. And then I was like, oh, okay, do you know what? This is actually not that hard. So don't make the same mistake I did and make sure you learn Python with a specific focus on data analysis. Now, quick plug here. I do have my Ultimate Data Roadmap, which is, well, I mean, I think it's an amazing product because I put all of my experience and knowledge into this roadmap so that you can learn everything way quicker than I did. There's so much information out there nowadays, and I don't even think it's hard to learn stuff. The hard part is what stuff is actually useful that I should learn. So in this roadmap, I tried to condense the learning down to only applicable data skills that you will actually use at work. So you will never have the problem of choice overload again if you use this roadmap. Again, this is a paid product. I think it's not that expensive, but I mean, you tell me. Feel free to check it out if you want to, but this is only for the really committed people. If you want to shorten your journey, if you want to shorten your data journey, then yeah, definitely have a go at it. All right, meanwhile, I just got changed into a t-shirt because it was getting pretty hot. I have this light basically just shining at me here, and the key light gets hot sometimes. So I'm back, but I think that was everything I wanted to talk about on technical skills. Let me just look at my notes. Okay, yeah, one thing I missed, cloud computing. Obviously, it's 2024 now, so, you know, most companies are either already fully on the cloud, most companies that were founded, say, in the last 10 to 15 years. And then the big organizations like the one I work for were trying to move everything from on-prem, as in on-premises, you know, think of like data centers that are physically there at the location. We're trying to move away to the cloud. So cloud computing skills, I think, are super important as well. Nowadays, if you want to learn some cloud computing skills, either learn Amazon Web Services, so AWS, learn their service as well, or you can learn Microsoft Azure or Azure, or you could learn Google Cloud or Google Cloud Platform, GCP. Whichever one you go with, you cannot go wrong, but AWS dominates the market, so just looking at the probability, you should probably learn AWS because most companies will use AWS. But you could learn Microsoft, whatever. They all work on the same kind of concept. They have different tools and services, but once you use one of them and you know how to use one of them, you'll be able to use different cloud providers as well. I mean, these are all transferable skills. I think data analysis in general is a transferable skill. That's why, to me, technical skills and technical tools, they don't matter that much because I'm pretty certain that what I use nowadays is not going to be the tool I use in 20 years' time. So the world is going to change, and I think it's completely normal that we move ahead and we start using different tools over time. But for now, I think cloud computing is a great extra skill to have if you want to, you know, get certified in something. I'm an AWS certified cloud practitioner or cloud professional. I have no idea what the certification is called. I took it, I think, a year ago. Anyway, I got certified. You can get certified too. It's not that expensive. So it's about $150, I think. So get certified if you want to, or don't get certified if you don't want to. And another thing on, certifications is that if you want an actual decent course online, like an actual course, not a roadmap like mine, Course Careers and I have been, I think, partnering for a couple months now, and their data analytics course is genuinely pretty good. So it's the one I usually recommend to people. It definitely helps a lot with getting hired. You can, check it out online if you want to. But yeah, that's the one thing I want to add here, is that their certification is genuinely good. So check it out if you want to. Don't check it out if you don't want to spend any money. There's so many free resources online. Go and research on your own. Completely up to you. But with that said, I think I'm going to move on to soft skills. My favorite section? I don't know. Probably, I would say. So I noted down a couple skills here. Communication, stakeholder management, common sense. Pretty basic stuff, but I think a lot of people just don't get it. Like, a lot of people really just don't get it. The ability to communicate is an ability that lacks in most people. People don't even know how to write good emails. Like, imagine if you write a one-liner email just saying, okay, that's great. If I get a reply like that, honestly, that doesn't add anything to my day, because they just confirmed, they gave me a nothing message. There's no next steps or anything. So instead of writing, okay, that's great, for example, you could improve your communication skills by not sending that message, looking at the email you just got, and do something about it. So you could say, okay, this is great, and this is what I recommend, because I read your email, I have an action point. Otherwise, if you just send okay, what am I going to do with it? Nothing. The only thing I can see is that you've read the message. So I'm more than happy to wait 30 minutes. Then you can send me an email that actually has action points. Or people who send, very long emails as one paragraph. Use line spacing. Try and space it out. Make your communication simpler. The goal is not to show all the big words you can use. Like, when I'm trying to communicate with someone, my goal is for them to understand what I'm trying to say in the simplest possible way. So it's not for me to show off all the work I did. It's for me to make them understand in the simplest possible way what they need to do if I'm asking something of them. Let me just, use one example for stakeholder management. So a very simple rule at work is that you're at work. So treat it like work. Double check your messages. Make sure you use punctuation. It's very basic stuff. I mean, the way you text your friends, I don't think it should be the way you text your colleagues. Yeah, sure, there can be differences in the tone depending on who you message. But I mean, come on, you're at work. Just make sure you use correct English or whatever language, you work in. Use punctuation, use correct grammar. Be professional about it, right? This is a bit of a pet peeve of mine, I guess, but I receive so many messages from you guys, from my audience. Some of them, actually most of them, I would say they're nice, but there are some that I just think, you need a lesson on stakeholder management or communication, because think about it this way. Let me tell you a story here. So Nicole, my wife, she loves the podcast Rotten Mango, which is some kind of crime junkie podcast. And her birthday is coming up. So I was thinking, okay, how can I ask Stephanie Sue, who is the podcast host? She's got about 2-3 million subscribers, by the way. So compared to me, she's gigantic. Like, who am I compared to her? Nobody. And I was thinking, how can I get Stephanie Sue to give Nicole a shout out in one of her videos, one of her podcasts? And then I grabbed this phone, I recorded a voice message. So in the voice message, it was about 75 seconds long. In the first 30 seconds, I acknowledged that she's really busy. And I understand all the messages and everything she may get on a daily basis. And then I kindly asked. And then I got to the end of the message and I was like, okay, this is terrible of me, because she has a 1% chance of ever reading this. But if she does, What's she gonna do? I didn't offer her anything. She clearly doesn't give people shout outs on these podcasts. I checked. There was no other social media platform or website link through which I could click and ask for anything like this. So then I was thinking, okay, even if she reads it or listens to my message, what's she gonna do? She has no idea who I am. She has no idea who Nicole is. Why would she ever want to give me a shout out? She has 2-3 million subscribers. She clearly is busy enough already. Why would she want to take this time to listen to this and do something about it, right? So then I just didn't send it because I couldn't actually offer her anything. So let me just give you some messages that people have sent me, and I'm just paraphrasing here, but they go from Mo, any jobs going, or they go like this. Hi, this is my name, blah, blah, blah. I'm struggling with this. Here's my phone number. Help me. Now, it's not that I don't want to help people, but I mean, this is not the way to approach it. This is like me trying to reach out to, say, for example, Elon Musk or Bill Gates. And I'm like, hey, Bill, can you help me, please? I need a new laptop. Just send me one. It's not the way to ask for things. I think it needs to be a genuine exchange. And I do have subscribers, and I'll call out someone specific. So her name is Sarah. I really hope I pronounced that right. But she's so genuine and she's so nice that it's a two-way conversation. And she can confirm this. I reply to her messages within 24 hours on various social media platforms. And we send direct messages to each other. But most people, I don't think they approach it like this. They honestly just take. And I have so much free stuff already out there. Like, imagine if I reply to every single message. I'm already so busy that I work from 6 a.m. until 10, 11 p.m. The time I'm going to spend it with my wife, Nicole, and our dog, Rocket, and the friends who are very close to me. I'm already working 16-hour days. If you reach out to, or maybe even longer, who knows, I don't know. If you just reach out to me and, hey, this is my problem, help me. Boom, this is my phone number. Then realistically, if you're actually expecting a reply, then I really don't think you've worked on your soft skills and or you have any common sense. I do have a mentorship service. Check it out. It comes with a price, yes, but will you get what you need? Absolutely. The people who have been on it, I've shortened their journey to whatever their career goal was by 6 to 12 months. So that is a proper way of doing it. Or if you want to get free advice, just be genuine and offer something in exchange. For example, read the book, Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's a great book on stakeholder management. If you read that and you read it again and again, you'll learn so many things that will get you far in life. Because technical skills, sure, they're good. But it's the bare minimum, come on, to getting any kind of data analytics job. If you don't even have technical skills, what do you have? Nothing, right? So after you have that, you need to have different types of soft skills. And I know I talked about communication a lot and stakeholder management, but it is truly the thing that will take you from entry-level positions to way more senior positions, along with analytical thinking, critical thinking, the ability to take the initiative. Like, imagine if you go to work and you're like, hey boss, what can I do? Is that the kind of employee you want to have? The way I think of a team is that if I am the manager of a team, then I define the mission and the vision, and then how people carry that out, they can sort it themselves. Because I can give them direction and guidance, but I cannot go and do the doing for them, right? So they need to go and figure out how to do the doing because I already gave them the end goal and I will help and guide them along the way. So say you're at home and if you're already working, you're going to encounter all of these problems and it's going to be so much easier to practice because you have real people to speak to, you have real people to send emails to, you have real people to communicate with and influence and ask feedback from. But if you've never had any experience, or if you're transitioning into the industry, do this. Sit at home, look into the mirror, completely free. Look into the mirror and try and explain a really simple concept in just 2-3 sentences. It can be as simple as, what's a pivot table in Excel? Or, why do I use an XLOOKUP instead of a VLOOKUP? Or, what is an index match? Why is it useful? Try and explain it in the simplest possible way. Or even try and explain, how do you try and explain how you look at data. For example, you get a data set. What do? You check for missing values. You look for null values. You check the shape of the data set. Try and explain these concepts, because you need to get better at these kind of things. Because say if you're applying for jobs, okay, first round, sure, you submit your resume and then you say you pass it. Great. Okay, interview. What are you going to do? If you cannot communicate, you're not going to get the job. And it's likely that you'll have to do multiple interviews. So I see beginners make this mistake over and over and over again, is that they study technical skills to the extent where they might actually be better than me, at a certain portion of those technical skills. Like, say, for example, I didn't use Power Query for the past 3 months, and then someone's been using Power Query every single day, 10 hours a day. They'll know exactly where to click. But is that really going to get you ahead? Probably not, because from the moment you apply to the job to the moment you get the job, you may not actually have to click on that thing. So try and learn more transferable skills, more high-level skills, and learn the thinking behind how to do things to get to where you are. And I think this is the great thing about soft skills, is that you can take any approach, really any approach, and everybody's different. But you can use your unique experiences, your unique skills, and get to your destination in a different way. But to really just go through again, sorry, I wrote it down. So communication, stakeholder management, critical thinking, taking the initiative. And then the last one that I want to touch on is going to be industry knowledge. So again, this is one of those. If you're already working, that easy, right? Like, I work in the banking industry. I have a master's in finance and economics. I understand how banking works. Maybe I don't understand it to the level where I could be working for the Bank of England or the Bank of Japan to set the interest rates, because I'm not an economist by trade. Well, actually, no, I am an economist by trade, looking at my master's degree. But I haven't worked as an economist, but I understand how financial markets work. I know what interest rates are. I know what bonds are. I know how issuing equity works. I know how raising debt works. I know how loans work. I know why the world was in such a crisis back in 08, 09. So I understand all these kind of things. And this is all domain knowledge. And this is the stuff that you really have to use at work, because without domain knowledge, you have no idea what to look for. Like, you can be great at data analysis, but then you'll just be sitting there and you'll have no clue. You'll be able to do the doing, but you won't have any idea what to do. So like, imagine step one is figuring out what problems you should tackle and how you could solve them, and what problems to look for, what business critical problems to look for. And then step two would be solving them. But without domain knowledge, you cannot even do step one. So you're forever going to be stuck in this place where you're going to be, when I say just an analyst, but you're going to be in an entry-level role because someone else needs to tell you what to do before you can go do the doing. So by combining your technical skills and your soft skills like, communication, domain knowledge, stakeholder management, taking the initiative, you can actually identify the problem. And then using your technical skills, you can build technical solutions to solve those problems. There's a lot of people at work, and you'll see this as you progress into your career. There's a lot of people who are great at managing, great at motivating people, great at, leading a team. But these people oftentimes, they don't know how to do the doing. Like, some people just, I don't know how actually, but in technical teams, some people get to lead teams without actually knowing how to do the underlying doing. And I'm not sure if that's the right or wrong way. I'm not one to comment on it, but I think at one point in their lives, I think it's probably better if they understand how difficult it is to write some code or some technical complexities, because you will be able to relate more. So there's these people who are great at leading. Okay, one bucket. And then there's the people who are great at doing, but they don't think about it really, right? So if you can be both, if you can walk the walk and you can talk the talk, then I can guarantee you now that you will get very far. And yeah, this is, again, I'll have to say that in my ultimate data roadmap, so skip this section if you don't want to hear about it. I'll talk about it for a minute. I include soft skills, probability, statistics, communication, ebook summaries. I literally go and read a book and I summarize it for you with the most important points. I include this as well. If you can find me another roadmap out there that can also do this, let me know in the comments below. I would love to see it, buy it, look at it, learn from it, because I really took hours and hours and hours of time to create this resource for you, to really condense it down. With information like this, like in this video, this is completely free, right? You don't have to pay anything. You just watch it. Please pay attention to it, because like I said, this is not one of those videos where I'm going to do fancy effects and a bunch of text and, distract you from what I'm saying. Just please listen to what I'm saying. There's no fluff in this. This is my honest advice on how I made it this far into my career. And I'm still relatively early on in my career, right? This is my 6th year only working. And, I'm not saying I'm the best. Nowhere near. But knowing your own market value in the corporate world is also something that's extremely valuable, because you need to be able to benchmark yourself to know where you stand. And I'm not the best, but I can guarantee you I'm such a good all-rounder that I would place myself easily in the top 1% of the workforce. Now, you don't have to be in the top 1% of the workforce, by no means, at all. Like, just know where you are. And I guess this leads us into the third topic that I wanted to talk about, which is salary and salary negotiations, how you should do it. Why is it such a taboo topic? I have no idea. It just is. But knowing your own market value in any kind of industry is a huge plus. Because for example, I only ask for what I think is fair, and I want to be valued fairly. I don't want to get paid more than I think I am worth, or I am worth, and I don't want to get paid less either. I want to get paid fairly. And this is the point, because at the end of the day, right, like salary negotiations, most people will not have high salaries because it's either you never go and negotiate or you don't know how to. So it's one of these. Okay, everything else aside, let's just talk about confidence. Men tend to be more overconfident on average. This is true. So they're going to be more likely to negotiate the salary because they think they are worth more compared to women. So sometimes this can be, a factor. But then gender aside, I think you should always negotiate your salary in the sense that if you think you're not making what you think you are worth, then you should say something about it. Now, this is not saying that, I don't want to get paid more than what I think I am worth. I just want to get paid what I think I am worth. I'm not a greedy person. I never want to ask for more than what I actually think I am worth. And here's the real, secret to everybody. So if you want to increase your salary fast, as in really fast, you have to move companies. There's no other way. Because the one big chance you get to negotiate your salary is when you go into a company externally. Because once you're in the company, your year-on-year pay rise will be restricted by some kind of pay and bonus matrix that the organization has. So if you want to make money fast in the corporate world, every 18 months or every 12 months or every 24 months, I don't know what the time frame is for you, because I've been working for the same parent company for so long because I just like it. I like my company. But I'm telling you, if you want to move company and if you want to move fast, I know this from friends in the industry, people that I know, colleagues, you have to move companies. And anybody will be able to tell you that. Now, whether or not you want to move and whether or not it's worth it, that's completely up to you. Let me put it this way. Upsides, obviously, more money. But then if you're already happy at your company, you like the work culture, you like your colleagues, you like where you live, maybe you even work remote, then is it even worth it to move? I take a 25% pay cut between two roles if one was remote, because it's worth so much for me, right? Like, I get to stay at home. I don't need to travel. My quality of life is just way better. Not everything is about money. Really, not everything is about money. And I understand that you need to make a certain amount, and you absolutely do. But again, my dreams are, in terms of buying things, they're not huge. I don't want a yacht. I don't care about nice cars. Like, when I see a Ferrari, I feel nothing. If someone gave me one right now, I'd sell it immediately, invest it into something better. Like, house, stocks, anything. I don't care about fancy things. I couldn't even care what other people think. Because to me, I just care what the people who are close to me think about me. I want them to have a nice life. And to me, the ultimate goal is just for me to be happy with my family, provide them with the life that I can, do in my absolute best. And hanging out with the friends who are really, really close to my heart. And that's about it. It's a simple life. So honestly, I don't have anything fancy. And all this tech around me, obviously I need it for like filming work. But yeah, that's on salary negotiations. So to really dumb it down, if you want to increase your salary fast, move companies, move every 12 to 24 months, and then make sure you negotiate when you go into the company, because it'll be your only time. Once you're in the company, you're going to be bound by internal pay regulations. So no matter how well you do, honestly, it will not matter that much in the end, because your pay rise will be tiny, minimal. And your bonus, unless you work in, investment banking, it's the only field I know where people get huge bonuses, you're probably not going to get a big bonus. If you stay with the same company and you actually like your company, the work culture, you can work remote, it has benefits that you enjoy, nothing wrong with it. Money really isn't everything. And I'm telling you this, that the more senior you get, I think there is a threshold after which you're just sacrificing really more of your time for a lot more money. Because imagine this, say you're an analyst, you make 100K. Okay, fantastic. You don't have to manage anyone, you report into someone, you have a pretty nice life. And then you go for a managerial position, like making 160 grand, something like that. After tax, the difference will be obviously a lot less. But then to go from that 100K analyst position to that 160K managerial position, all of a sudden you have to manage 10 people. So your life is going to get busy. Managing people is not easy at all, because it's more than likely that at work, you're not going to get your dream team. It's not like you go in and you pick whoever you want. So it's like you go in and they're like, oh, hey, Michael Jordan, you come play for me. That's not the way it works. You inherit a team. And if you inherit a fantastic team, okay, amazing. But if you don't, then you need to be a really good manager, and you need to be able to bring people with you along the journey, and you need to make them better. So if you have any managerial aspirations, just really think about this, is that your ability to take a bad team to a decent level, that can get you really, really far. Because if you can do that, then you can take a great team to incredible heights. I have no doubt. So yeah, let me just close on that, I think. I don't think there's anything more in my notes at all. Yeah, I think that's about it. So yeah, that was it. Pretty raw content, but if you paid attention, I think you know exactly what to do with the technical skills, what to learn. I really don't think it's that difficult. It's about putting in the hours and putting in the reps. Like I said, in the beginning of my career, in the first 2-3 years before I met Nicole, I easily put in 10 years of experience in terms of time and the effort I put out there. I sacrificed a lot. I learned a lot, and I really put in those reps. So honestly, for anybody out there, if you're watching this and you think it's easy for Mo, it's not easy for Mo. I still work from about 6 till 10 p.m. easily. My friends were here this week from California, so they were doing a Euro trip. Hey Sam, hey Vivian, and I'm going to make them watch this, by the way, the entire thing. But yeah, they were here, and obviously because they're here, I see them once every couple of years. I cannot just not see them. But then at the same time, I have commitments now that I must adhere to. Like, I just need to do them. I must, because the opportunity cost now of not doing them is too high. So I got up at 5 o'clock, and before they got up at 10, I already put in 4 or 5 hours of work. And after we finished chilling and doing all of our activities at 11 p.m., you know what I did? I went to work. I worked until 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm actually on annual leave right now, by the way, from my 9 to 5 job. So I'm doing my technically 5 to 9 job at the moment. So just think about those reps you need to put in. Really think about those reps, because once you do that, I mean, come on, learning Excel, learning SQL, learning Tableau or Power BI, it's not that hard. If you have 500 hours to learn the 3 of them, if you actually sit down and time yourself and you're like, oh, okay, there we go. It's 6:04 p.m. now, and I'm going to put in 500 hours into learning all of these. I can guarantee you that on the other end, you're going to come out and you're going to be an expert at all 3 of them. Or if we take communication, soft skills, all these kind of things, if you practice those in front of the mirror, if you start writing, if you start reading, if you actually put in the research on how to write good emails or how to communicate, how to send emails, good emails, cold, outreach emails. If you actually put in 100 hours into them, do you not think you'll get better? Yes, you will get better. I can guarantee you that. But most people cannot even put in 10 hours of work because you cannot sit down for a single day and do the work. And to me, that is the harsh reality. So if you want to succeed, you just need to put in the work. Some people are smarter, so, it'll take them so much less time. But yeah, if you're not as smart as anybody else, you can always outwork them. That's a skill that anybody has. It just depends on willingness and how much effort you're willing to put into it. So that's on technical skills. And then soft skills, make sure you practice them, because it's really the soft skills that will get you far in your corporate career. And they're so transferable to anything in life. So learn them really well, focus on them. And I can guarantee you, if you're already working, they'll take you from entry-level roles all the way to the top. And if you're not working yet, they'll help so much in your interview process and in the process of getting a job. And then the third thing is salary. Know your worth. Know your market value. Do not be greedy, but make sure you get paid what you think you are worth. Or let me put it this way, make sure you get paid what you are actually worth. So what you think you are worth should be what you are worth, because you should be able to benchmark yourself against others. And I really don't think it's too hard. You can speak to a couple people in the industry, reach out to them. If you're good friends, you can discuss it. Obviously, don't go to your line manager, or in the application process, it shouldn't be your first question. But yeah, try and benchmark yourself. There's so many places where you can check salaries, Glassdoor, for example, you can check it there. Just type in average salaries for any kind of job, any kind of data job, and then you can find out. And that's a really good way to benchmark yourself. And if you want to increase your salary quickly, jump companies, move externally, but then also keep in mind that money really isn't everything. So if you like your job and you like the place you live in, you have a nice work-life balance, you like your colleagues, you genuinely like the company you work for, and the company looks after you as well, right? Like, they give you good benefits, they're nice to you, they've been there. Like my company, I enjoy working for my company. I, at the moment, have no intention of leaving my company, because I don't even know if it's the highest pay in the industry. Probably not. I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. But the benefits are great. People are great. Colleagues are great. The culture is great. Why would I want to leave? I like the place I live in as well. If someone offered me 50% more money now, okay, great. But what am I going to do with that money? I actually don't know. I'm probably going to have to work so much more, or sacrifice something, like not live here, move my entire life. I don't want to. So these are things you should really take into consideration. I hope I was able to give you really honest industry insights. I think I'm going to make a lot more content like this. Just no fluff, raw content. Please just pay attention. That's it. There's going to be no more of these, at least for a short while, of these, texts and everything flying around, quick transitions. It's just me, some notes, one camera, decent microphone, and then I'm going to have a go at it and give you as much value as possible. And then just, a tiny thing I could ask for, or a couple tiny things. If you've ever watched any of my videos, and if you watched this till the end, I really hope you gained value out of it. Just hit the subscribe button. It helps me and the channel and everything I do more than you know. And if you're ever after great products and great services to help you get way closer to your career ambitions, then make sure to go to mochen.info and check out my work. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.